Okay, well, it's just a little after 3. Stella's snoring her head off after she's woke me up, like, I think it seems like it was like 12:45 or 1:15 or something. And then whatever she was having her fit about. And then it was so cold. So I made a fire and I tried to lay back down. And as soon as I start dozing off, she'll just jump up. And so she started doing that. And then it was like, okay, just forget about it. Just stay up. Stay up for a while. Do this. And then I still keep having, like, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if it's just the energy or whatever, but like all the TikToks, it just seems like everybody's like yelling at you, and everybody's got these, there's like a lot of opinions. And it's just weird, is because, I feel like I'm so right, but it's like inside of me. And so it feels like, so when I hear other people saying stuff that just I just think it seems so strange. It's like, where is this coming from? Is it coming from inside of them? Are they making this up? Is this going to be their reality? Like, I don't know. It's so, and some of the people are so passionate about, the end of the world, and you got to get right with Jesus, and celebrating, because these people are going and getting baptized, and I don't know. It just all seems like it's all out of fear. And the story is just wacky. Anyways, and it's like, why aren't you questioning this story? Like, I don't know. It's so weird sometimes to me how primitive people think. Like, God, it's weird, man. It just is like repressed, 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 like thinking that's outside of the box, and everything that they think is so contained and controlled. People just don't realize how contained and controlled their mind is. Just like micro, macro, they try and contain and control our movement. They try and contain and control our lives, our livelihood, our relationships. And they ultimately, they are containing and controlling your mind. And it's just, I don't know. It just weirds me out sometimes. Like, what is this place? Is it really a school where people come to learn to be souls or something, like some people say? Or is it just a constant test on your abilities to connect to yourself, and in the harshest of situations and times and terms, that you can still be true to yourself and find yourself? 'Cause that's what I think it is. That's what I think. But it's just weird how lost so many people seem to be, and so primitive in their thinking, that they don't think in a very advanced way. But we're about to take this big advancement. And is that going to be the big stumbling block? Is it just that people are so contained in their thinking that that's the big awakening thing, is just like their minds are opening, and the profound effects that it has on them, that they were not even seeing reality for what it was. Like to have to face that your mind has been controlled and contained and contained and controlled. To have to face that part, I guess, because that would be hard. It's just so weird to just see how people just don't ask questions. They don't try and understand things. They just want to be a part of a group. They just want to fit in. And, I think that's part of the game. I swear to God. I think it's part of what you're supposed to be trying to overcome. You're supposed to be trying to be true to yourself, not just fit in. But then, again, the universe wants all things to play out. So everybody who's playing out all these different things are playing out the parts they're supposed to. They're not doing something wrong. It's just as you sit back and you observe these different roles, I don't know, you can see see the dark side, see the underbelly, see the part that other people don't see, I guess. And it's just strange to see how people are so willing to give themselves up, to not be true to themselves. And I just saw a really good example of that I was like, oh, man, I gotta talk about that example. Because people are just always so willing to give themselves, like put themselves second, put themselves third. Everybody else is better than them. But then it's toxic though, because then it is like people aren't doing that because they truly believe it. They're doing it so they can get people to like and accept them. It's not because they really think that this person is better than them. I think a lot of people, even the people they're around, they don't think that they're better than them. I think when people don't feel good about themselves, that eventually they start thinking that their friends and everybody around them that likes them is also inferior. Something's wrong with them, or they wouldn't like them. They wouldn't be a part of their life if they were a decent person. It just keeps, if you let that part of yourself go out of control, it will just keep going. Oh man, and that girl, I swear to God, she's really giving me the creeps at this point. Like, it isn't even funny. Yesterday I did some comments. I just couldn't even stay right with my own consciousness, not saying something. But next thing, I'm going to have to block her. That Lucifer's lover girl, she's just like spinning out of control. And she does like creepy videos and stuff too. And just like going around with a light, candlelight and music. And I don't know, she just is becoming so eerie. But she decided that she needed to sacrifice this lamb. She talks to Lucifer all the time, just like how I'm talking. She's talking to Lucifer all the time. Like, okay. And so this Lucifer character, whoever she's fucking talking to, could be a whole group of like dark entities or some dark spirits, dark energy. It's all depends on what's attached to her. And I mean, they'll say anything. And then also people are pulling in different spirits and stuff. But yeah, I don't believe Lucifer and Jesus are running around looking for people to talk to and making him do this weird shit. So she's convinced that she needs to sacrifice this lamb as the sun's coming up. Like, so tonight, she is, it goes from Christmas Eve to Christmas. She's got to go out, sacrifice this lamb so that people, to block CERN, so that CERN is blocked, so it frees humanity. And then Lucifer's returning to free humanity. And, you know, and she's all over the place too. Like, sometimes she's crying, sometimes she's laughing, sometimes she's yelling at people and just being really rude. And she used to not be rude at all. And now she's just like, you know, fuck you, bro. Bro. She's always bro. Bro, you want to fucking, you don't eat animals? You don't kill animals? You don't, how many animals are you going to eat this, I don't know, this holiday or whatever? And who do you think's going to kill them? Don't sit there and say something to me, bro, about killing animals. And I'm doing what's right for humanity. And then she'll do a video of her crying, I can't do it, I can't kill a little baby lamb. Then she'll do a video of like, oh, here's the cute little lamb. We went and got it. Somebody donated a lamb for this shenanigan. And so she went to Georgia to pick up this lamb, the cutest little baby lamb. Oh, this is where I swear to God. And she fucking does that. Somebody needs to turn her in, I swear. This is like, she's in, I think she's in South Carolina. I'm not sure, but she's over there somewhere. And And she lives like out in the rural. And I'm sure that you get to, you know, like they're not going to go and arrest people for cutting the heads off chickens and turkeys and shit. So I'm sure you are allowed to kill these animals and say, well, somebody's going to eat it. Because then that's what she's saying. She's going to kill it, sacrifice it, and whatever, have the blood all over her and sit there all night so Lucifer comes back. And then I'm sure that that's okay to do. Like, our society is so fucking warped. Is so fucking... I mean, I swear to God, at the same time, you have all these videos going non-fucking stop of animals being dumped, shelters too full, people, all these rescuers that are overrun, begging for people to come and take this dog and take that dog. All these dogs are far away. It's like, even if you try and say, okay, well, I will take one of the dogs, it's this whole fucking thing. And it just seems like weird. Like the whole scene just seems so weird. And then you have all these people who just keep bringing all these puppies, all these cute puppies. It's like, where are these puppies going to end up? How many of these people really are going to take care of this puppy and care about this puppy, even have time for this puppy? I mean, people don't even have time for their own kids. And then they're getting a puppy. It's like it's buying a purse or something. It's like just another hat. It's like it's an accessory. It's just an accessory in your life. Like, you know, yeah, I've got a 4-bedroom house. I've got 2 kids, 2 cars. We got 2 jobs. We got 2 dogs. Everything is like, you know, the successful pattern, the running the numbers for what makes your life complete or something. And so you have, to me, it's just like all of society, all this stuff is just coming to the surface. All of this, and it's so opposing. Like there's 2 opposing forces and all this stuff. And yesterday there was a whole bunch of protests and stuff. And I saw so many videos talking about that grandpa and daughter. So I don't know what they were doing extra protests for that. I don't know. It's so weird how these protests are like for another country when we have all this stuff going on in our country, and they're not doing anything about the stuff going on in our country. And then they are doing all this about this other country at the same time. All these people are coming over. And this whole thing just seems wacky. It's so wacky. And but the people are like inviting them in. It's like, once you invite in the devil or whatever that is, inviting the vampire into your house, you know, you're stuck. And that's what it's kind of like they're doing, is like they're inviting someone else's war into their streets. It is, there's a lot of different ways to be handling this stuff, but it's all these people who just have to interject themselves in everybody else's problems. And it's like they've got to be, but see, like the universe needs all these people. They need all this stuff to happen. All of this has to happen the way it's happening. I mean, there's no way around it. It's just so weird to watch how it's the people. It's like the people are learning their own lessons. Like all these lessons are coming because the people are doing. And so everything is to show, so people can see and see different. And I don't know, change everybody's awareness. I saw this video this guy was just doing. I don't know who, you know, some of these people share these podcasts and stuff, these videos. So I don't know what this, you know, it seemed like a podcast and somebody interviewing somebody. But they were talking about Nibiru, and that is going to be seen by everybody. That's what's going to probably bring everybody out into the streets that are up looking, because this planet is going to come so close to us, and it's going to go in front of the sun, and then it's going to go travel so close to our planet as it's speeding past and makes its flip to go around the other direction, that everybody's going to have to see it. And that's what's going to all of a sudden make people realize different. But the whole time he's explaining it, he's explaining like it's coming from outer space and it's zooming in. I don't know. I can't really stand to listen to even some of the stuff with the astrology stuff, because there are some astrologer people now who have been going and saying that nothing is moving right. The sun has been in Venus this whole time. Like they keep going through these patterns, but the patterns aren't really happening because they're not really paying attention to what's going on in the sky. And they're just basing it on what should happen, which they've even made conflicting calendars. So how can you even base it on any of that stuff? And then you have these people who keep talking like everything is really in outer space and we're out spinning in space. And then you see these meteor showers. It's like, well, where the hell are they coming from? Like, are they just shooting stuff out from the firmament? Everything's busting through the firmament. Because everything is around us, but it's not like going out, like how I think the perspective has to change in someone's mind to give them some kind of a simulation of, where they are, of like gaining equilibrium and, be able to understand about where you are. And so to me, this false illusion of, being on something that's spinning out in space and all this stuff is spinning around us and ships are flying around and all that stuff is, I don't know, it's illusion. And because there's things out, but it's out. It's under us. It's all around us. What was that thing too? I just saw something about all the stuff that you see it like with the toroidal field and how we're a toroidal field, everything's a toroid, all those ones that have got so much fascinating information in them. And there was something I found interesting, but I can't remember what it was. But I'm never good at repeating other people's information. It's always better to just go in and see. But I think that has more to do with what we are and how the world is. And it's this electrical kind of current that keeps everything going. And it is all on your frequency, of what kind of game you're playing. But it is how you look at yourself and how you see life. It makes a difference of what your frequency is, how things affect you. And so but the people, I feel really lost all of a sudden. Okay, because I want to skip off of that and I want to skip back to, there was something that I had wanted to talk about that I thought was strange. So the other day I went outside and I was cleaning the yard or something, raking or something. And I was noticing like all these plants were growing, the ferns and stuff. And I was thinking, this is so strange. This does not seem like it's like December. It seems like it's like spring. And there's even a weirdness about the temperature. Like it will seem like it's spring, and then it will seem like that there's this coldness coming in. So there's something weird where I kept thinking, God, this is weird. And then even with that one, this big bush thing that has these flowers that grow on it, I can't remember what it's called, but one morning I went out and it was saying it was like 40 degrees or something. And it looked like the plant was frozen and all the leaves had shriveled up. And so I was talking about, it had to be less. I put out my thermometer and it was below 20. And so then but I had noticed the plant, how it was affected by the cold temperature. And then a couple days later, it looked like it was spring. Like it was just all back. It was perfect. It was way bigger. And all of my ferns and all this stuff are growing. And it seems like spring. And so I was just thinking, God, that's so weird. There's definitely weird things going on with the temperature. I was like, well, maybe it's because of all the water, because they keep raining on us and raining on us and raining on us. Maybe it's making things grow. We haven't had any, did we have any snow? Was there like, oh yeah, it snowed that one day. Yeah, when we had some winter storm and then all the passes were getting closed and stuff, or had snow travel and they would ticket you $500 if you didn't have on chains. And so we did have snow on that one day. It wasn't a ton, but it took days for it to melt. But anyways, it's just been tons and tons of water. So I was thinking, well, maybe it's the water. But now I've seen other people going through their yards and all around in different places saying that this is weird, that they have stuff that's usually grows in the spring is growing in their yard. People have found dandelions. People have got their plants are out blooming. Their herbs, all their herb gardens are blossoming, like all sorts of stuff. And saying that this is strange. This usually happens in spring. And why is it happening at the end of December? And then the beekeeper, so he's, I think he's called the Angry Beekeeper. I think he's pretty popular. And so he was saying right now his bees are doing something so weird. So before, he had said the bees had started setting up for winter. There's a whole process they do. And they were setting up for winter early. So he was saying it was weeks early. And he was saying that that's usually a sign it's going to be a really bad winter when the bees do that. And so he said they were all set up for this long, hard, cold winter. And I don't know, it's fucking brutal. Like they kill, they'll put other bees out and stuff. And so anyways, right now he said that they're, getting rid of all the dead bees. They just shove them out and discard the dead ones. But he said they're going through like 2 pounds of honey a day. He said because they're so active. He said normally in the winter, they're not very active. They had like 60 pounds to keep them for winter, but he said they're going through so much right now because they're so active. He said this is so weird. This is usually what they do in the spring. So he's saying the bees are acting like it's spring. The bees are doing something and they're real active, and he's needing them to have the cold temperatures come back in so the bees go back to being more dormant, because they're not going to be able to make it through to the spring because they're going to use up all their supplies. So he was concerned about that, talking about it, which, the whole thing is so confusing. It's so weird. And because like the pole shift, it's weird because I think some of the things like we try and, put them into the physical part, like the pole shift is like a mental pole. It's like, well, for one thing, you have so many people who are on one pole. They're not even having the other. Well, it is kind of like people just go back and forth between good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. Oh my God. This video I did, now it's like got 27,000 views on this video that I did, that I said something about, and it's really fucking eerie. Like it's still creeping me the fuck out. Last night in my window up there, it's really, really dark. It's like so super dark at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then the moon was coming through my window really bright. It was like 5 or something. And it was like, it wasn't all the way full, but it was really huge. And then you have to kind of look, between the trees. And then there was like some cloudy eeriness and stuff. And so I did a video of that. And I was really creeped out. Like, is that I didn't want to go walk out the driveway and look up. I didn't want to see that face looking down at me. And I kept on thinking like, oh my God, if that face is out there looking down. And I don't know why it has got me so creeped out. Because I have such an awareness that we're being watched all the time. I always have. But I don't know if it's the whole thing of like, you're looking and looking and you're not seeing it. And then all of a sudden you see it. And I don't know if that has got me totally freaked out, or if it's just the whole appearance of this face, of how it's looking down and watching. It's very creepy. And then there's a lot of people saying, well, it's a hologram and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it is. And I don't know how different people got it from different angles. All I know is it's creepy as fuck, and I don't want to go outside and look up and see it. And I'm not scared of all that kind of stuff. And I don't know why it's freaking me out. But so I had done a video talking about, that was freaking me out. And apparently I said fuck. Well, I say fuck all the goddamn time. I always cuss. I think that it is so strange how people are so weirded out by cussing. And it's been a whole thing. Like there was periods of time where, oh, well, I can't cuss because everybody says I talk like a truck driver. And I don't want to talk like a truck driver. I don't want to be thought of like that, low class or something. And like it's been a whole journey on the cussing. And then there becomes a point of like, especially when it's an adult, a grown-ass adult. Oh, don't say that. God, why do you have to use such bad language? Well, who is the one deciding what language is good and what language is bad? Like, why are you deciding that this is bad? It's obviously good to me. I use it all the time. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It's bad language. I think it's fantastic. I think you can say something, you can feel it. It's like a release. So, yeah, I think it's weird. But I think when I keep having these people come into my comments. Oh, well, you don't have to use such bad language. You don't have to talk like that. That just lowers your value and stuff. It's like, if that lowers somebody's value because they cuss, that's coming from you. Like, that is you. That is your biases. That is how you look at somebody. Like, why in the world? Like, if you don't want to cuss, why do you think everybody has to follow your rules? Nobody can cuss. Even though so many people cuss. And then some people even cuss in shame. Oh, God, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean it slipped out. It just fell out of my mouth. It's like, why? Why can't you just say, oh, I just wanted to say fucking hell. It's fucking bullshit. Like, you feel it. But I don't know. It is weird that adults like act like that they can't. I can see why you don't want to be just cussing around kids all the time, because then kids are just going around saying cuss words and they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But some kids do. There's people who are doing all these videos of, you got these kids just sitting there cussing up a storm. It's like, man, what do their parents talk like in front of them? Some of the stuff they say and the words that they use and the way they put them together. It's like, that didn't just happen, or maybe it's from the movies they watch or something. One thing too that keeps bothering me is this one video is some of these people just put their kids on all these videos all the time and just put their whole videos, just watch their child with a filter on their face. Let's just look at my child with this filter on their face and watch my child react to this filter on their face. Or let's watch my child eat. That's a real sick one. Like, I'm just really turned off by the people who think that that's, good content. Let's watch my child eat. It's like, okay, it's not fetishy at all. And then this one, there's a filter apparently of a basketball player that looks like on this kid's nose. It looks like she has a basketball player cartoon on her nose, just pounding, going to Pound Town on her nose. It's like, this is the strangest thing. Why would you, like, are some of these parents, have they lost their minds? Do you not even look at that and see, like, what that even looks like? What is cute about this stuff? Some of them, they keep putting these little, like, elf filters and stuff on their kids. Some of these people with the filters, they seem to have lost their mind. I swear to God. And it's like the filters are fucking with their heads. I mean, there's this one woman, and she's a large woman, and she keeps going and putting these filters of these pretty girls, and then it turns her into a different person. It's like, this is not you. Like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get sitting there all day long putting these different filters on. It's not you. They just take, I don't know, take the size of your face and then take this other person's face and put it onto that. And then the people think, oh, look, see, I could look like that too. It's like, okay, so you go through all these different ones. You look like Megan Fox, Scarlett Johansson, Just go through the whole gamut. You look like every single girl, Kim Kardashian. And it's like, it's weird. It's like, why? Why? I don't know. I guess I'm the strange one, because to me, it seems like so pointless. And it seems like such a frenzy right now. The filters seems like such a weird frenzy, and all this stuff going on about Christmas. And it just seems like everything is just blowing up. Everything is just so chaotic. And every time I see these live, I ran across a few different live videos, and there kept being malarkey going on all over the place. There was some kind of one of these things somewhere, I'm not even sure, because it was live when it was happening, and they were saying that it was 5 people were, and 1 was already gone, and maybe 4 were wounded, but I don't know the severity or whatever. I don't know what the whole situation was. It was just live where somebody was out, like at their neighborhood, showing this thing going on. There's all these different ones of really bad car wrecks too, where people keep being live showing these really bad car wrecks. There's I don't know, more with Indonesia with the volcano going. Then you have a volcano in Iceland going, and I'm sure there's going to be some kind of stuff going today. There's going to be some kind of reverberation, some kind of storm. It wouldn't surprise me for it to come in at a time like this, like where this artificial simulation celebration, where people are just all caught up in this, I don't know, fever of false living. It's like they're all just, it's weird. And it's weird how many people, like, man, I just saw this girl, and she was doing DoorDash as her 3rd job. She's got 2 jobs. This is her 3rd job, just so she can make enough money to make it. And so she goes out and, you know, she just, her whole life is working to pay for what? That's what you got to start looking at. What am I paying for? What's so important that I give up all my time to have it? Do I give up all my time so I can have nails? Do I give up all my time so I can put on hair color? Which I had somebody yesterday, I think it was yesterday, could have been the day before, because I'm getting so many, well, yesterday was 2 days anyway, but there is, I get all these messages when, all these messages like about stop cussing or whatever. And then this person came in and they told me, well, you could color your hair and look 10 years younger. I was like, what? It's like, so what are you trying to say? Like, I need to color my hair because it's important to look younger, so I need to go color my hair so I can look 10 years younger? Like, why would you tell somebody that they need to color their hair to make themselves better? For who? Like, so you think I look younger? Like, so I should go and poison myself? I should go put a bunch of poison on my hair, damage my hair, so that I can look younger to somebody? Like, what's the point of looking younger to somebody? So then, you know, you can have some younger guys come up to you so that you can tell them that you're older, so you have more conversation. Like, I just don't get it. It's weird. And it just seems so weird that that is the way that people think. Is just, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. And so what else was I saying about? Oh, yeah, because this girl. So this girl, so she's at her 3rd job, and she gets an order for some sort of DoorDash thing. And so she accepts the order. And then right after she accepts the order, it gets canceled. And then she gets called from a DoorDash number. And the DoorDash number says that they need her card number. They're going to refund the money back to her. And so she gives them her card number, and then instantly her card's drained of all of her money. And so she's doing this TikTok crying because this is her 3rd job. She really needs that money. She needs that money to get gas. She had no idea that they could do a scam like that. And I mean, the scams just keep coming. The crazy fuckery just keeps coming. Because everything, it's like everything has to be covered. Every weird, absurd thing has to happen. And all of this stuff is also to show us the corruption in our system. And it's these people the bankers, like, it's not like, the CEO of Bank of America is sitting there on their spare time stealing money from people. No, there's ways in the bank has loopholes, and the people who, it's like the people who own the bank own the hackers. It's like they own both sides. Just like in the politics, they own both sides. They don't own one side or the other. They're not fighting the same battle we're fighting. And we keep fighting the battle that they're showing us, when we really need to recognize the real battle is with them, in their control, in their mind control over all the different people, and how they have people so controlled by their mind, by their own minds, and how much people, man, just the whole thing with just the holidays, I swear to God, it just is so much, you just see so much on the programs. I mean, people have no money, they're broke, and still their number one concern is to go make a Merry Christmas. One of my granddaughters called me yesterday, and my daughter is definitely not wanting to talk to me, which is like, that's fine. If you want to be mad at me because my boundary is that I want to, if I'm in a conversation, that I want to have a part in the conversation, that I want to be able to speak and say what my opinion is about something. That is, that is, to me, it seems rational. It seems reasonable. It seems like, that I have every right to be heard just like everybody else, and to say, well, we don't agree with your beliefs. You think weird and you say weird stuff, so you're not allowed to talk. You can listen. Maybe you'll learn something. It's like, no, I don't want to be in these conversations. And then is your whole thing is telling me that I'm the one who's trying to push my views on people. It's like, well, if I'm paying attention, it seems that I'm the one who's supposed to be quiet while others push their views on me. And it seems it is even said, because maybe I'll learn something if I listen to other people and get out of my craziness. And I don't know. I was thinking about this with this person that I'm connected to. And when I realized that there was this connection between us, and I started saying it to people, and people would think I was so strange. They would think I was so weird. How can you be connected to somebody you don't even know? How can you be connected to somebody who you haven't even met? It's like, I don't know, because I just know. I can just tell. My soul knows. My soul can feel it. It's like, I have no idea. And I have no idea what all the connection is about. I mean, I think I know, but I don't. So to me, it is, there's nobody to talk about it with. It's weird. It's because you say that stuff and people think you're weird. They think you're crazy. Like, how can your soul be connected to somebody? How can something that isn't even real be connected to somebody? It's like, how can you not tell your soul is real? How can you not tell that this world is a spiritual place? How is it that, I just don't get how other people are living. And it's so weird. But I was just thinking about that yesterday or last night, or it was tonight or whenever, sometime recently. And I was thinking about, how weird when you tell somebody, like, oh, I'm connected to them, like our souls are connected, like there's something weird. And then, or for people to, just think that you're weird, you're just crazy, that there's something wrong with you. It's like, I don't know. All I know is I am living very different than other people that I talk to and deal with, like in real life kind of situation. I just saw this guy, this young kid, and I've never seen him before. I went on and looked to see how many followers he had. It was just barely over 1,000. So I don't know if it's a new account. I don't know if somebody took his account. I don't know if he is on Instagram or Facebook or someplace else with a bigger account. So I don't know if he has it, because he was saying things to me that was all like, I totally was in alignment with what he was saying. He was saying too that, and I've talked about it before too, is that there is some of us that can see things, and we see things different than other people. And we've all been made fun of. We've been outcast because we were so strange and weird. And now things are turning the other direction. And that he was saying, just like I was saying, it's like we are in different places on purpose. There's a reason why we don't have a bunch of people around us that think like us and see things like we do. It's because we're the ones who are the grid of the system. And so the things turning, the reason why you don't have people around you is because you're the center. You're the one who's going to spread that to all the people who are around you. If it's in your town, in your church, in your school, in your work, or whatever, wherever it is in your life that you are very isolated. You know, you try and talk to people and they're just like on a totally different wavelength. You try and explain things to people and it's just they don't get at all what you're talking about, where you just feel kind of alone and lonely and like, fuck, what is this all about, man? And so he was saying that it is all on purpose too, because that is like the light, how it's set up, and that how it's we're all like spread out evenly, so that it is when this event happens, when whatever happens where the lights come on, which I don't know, is it going to be Nauru passing through? Is it going to be the money thing? Is it, I mean, fuck, the way this stuff drags on, who knows? But something is going to be like the shock factor to wake people up. So if it's going to be something in the sky, if it's going to be something with the finances, something with the control, you know, so many different things that have to fall apart anyways. So it can be anything. And so then when that happens and all of a sudden it just wakes people up, because that's what it's for. It's just this shock. It's like somebody's going to throw water in people's faces to wake them up, where all of a sudden it's just going to be like, boom, there is no more. It's going to be hard on some people. It's going to be really hard on some people. But it's going to be hard on most people. And this guy was talking about that too. And that this is why we are here. This is why we have been going through the things, is because when it flips, there's going to be so many people who have been in the dark, and they're all going to be turning towards the people who have seen. And so it's going to be overwhelming. The numbers are going to be overwhelming. I mean, they've shown me that a bunch of times. But so this kid was saying that all of a sudden, too, when everything flips and goes the other direction, people see, it's like those of us who are of the light, it is like the light comes on and it just like spreads. It's like all of us, all of the light that we are, that energy just kind of like is going to be, I don't know if it's like touching, but it's like, however we're all spread around, it's very purposeful, so that it affects all the different people in all the different ways. And so it is to spread this energy. It's an energetic thing. And so, but when all the stuff goes down, so there's going to be a reason. I know a lot of people think like it's so strange, you know, when you're trying to talk to people and nobody can understand what you're saying. You're trying to explain things and nobody gets it. You see things that other people don't see. You understand things that other people don't understand. And it's very frustrating. It's very hard. And it also has added on to it, like if you've been outspoken about your beliefs, that you've been laughed at, made fun of, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's going to switch. And then it's going to be all of a sudden where people are interested in what you see and what you understand and how you saw. How could you understand? There'll be things that I don't even think people will understand how to explain it. Like, how do you? how when everybody is sitting there and all of a sudden they just see it and they couldn't see it before, just like seeing that fucking face out there. And you're looking and looking and you can't see it. And then all of a sudden you see it. So creepy. But it is going to be like that for all these people. Like they're, even when we've tried to point things out to them and they couldn't see it and they couldn't see it. And then all of a sudden they'll see it. And it's going to feel like there's going to be a lot of negative feelings about it because it's going to be such a humiliation. They're going to be disappointed in themselves. They're going to feel like, what, why couldn't they see it? And when people realize how disconnected they've been with their soul, that is going to be hard on some people. They're going to be kind of embarrassed and humiliated that they were, that disconnected and that shallow. A lot of people will just try and cover it up and, like, well, I really did know. I just didn't say. But you won't be able to hide from yourself. Nobody will be able to hide from themselves. Just like all these people are being exposed. And they're saying that, I don't know, next week or something, the beginning of January, they're releasing the list. I don't know why it's always like, well, next week. And then you have people who are already saying, okay, when it's released, I will be live. We will be going over it person by person on this list, which some of these people could be getting arrested right now. And all these people are so caught up in needing to read the names. Why do you need to read the names? Like, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know that I believe all of the different names on the list. I mean, that could be, a bunch of people who came to a party one time where there was lots and lots of parties. I mean, the fucking Disney cruise was stopping there so kids could do snorkeling, so kids could just disappear. Like, where'd they go? I don't know. Those ones were traveling alone. They didn't have any parents. They were on a trip, like, and they just disappear. Nobody pays any attention. Everybody's just paid off. Nobody, I probably just pack up their bags and set them out. It's just I don't know, this world is so fucking weird. Because those are people who do this shit. They do it either to protect themselves or to make money. But anyways, I don't know. I just don't. Because the last time, once the list came out before, in like 2020 or something, and it might have been 2021, I don't remember, and people were freaking out, and people were saying all sorts of stuff about people on the list. It's like, how do you guys know? Like, they could put out any list. Then you start putting out, then there was people who were putting out all these things, talking about all the people on the list were dead now. They were all put to death. That was the list, and there's whole things about that. That went on for a while. It's just, I don't know. There's something where people get so caught up in, like, they need somebody to hate. They need something to be mad at. And maybe that's why some of this is playing out the way it is. Because they need to have these scapegoat. They need to have somebody to be angry at. But then, it's going to flip. It's going to really flip, because some of these people who are so angry at, like, Trump and stuff like that, it's so weird when you see people who are still like that. And they'll go on. They'll do these long videos explaining it and, how stupid all these people that just follow Trump, like, just blindly follow him. It's like, man, I don't know what the conversations are that these people have. But anyways, I don't know. It seems like everybody's just in their own little world. But so there has to be some kind of scapegoat. There has to be some kind of a release to the whole thing. But but that's what's going to be the taking down, the legacy destroying events. And right now there's so many, like, I didn't even know who this TD Banks or JD Bank, I don't know, some bishop, some preacher guy. He is a mega church guy or something. And now he's just somebody who, I don't know, has orgies and makes boys do things and stuff. Like, I don't even know. But there's lots of weird shit with P. Diddy and him. And I don't know. There's all this weird stuff that keeps coming out. And people are saying, and there's a lot of ones that are coming out. I don't even know who all these people are that they keep talking about, but they are saying, like, for sure that they think Beyonce and Jay-Z are next. They're the next ones that are going to be exposed. That all the different things, like, you can't get away from who you are at this point. Like, there's maybe a lot of these people who thought that they could go through their whole lives and get away with it and nobody would know. But no, this is the time when everything is going to be exposed. And there's a reason. Like, it's going to be exposed so that people can heal. So you can, because this is a time of ascension. So this is a time for healing. So you have to see the truth. Everybody has to see their own truth. And that is going to be the biggest thing, is everyone having to see their own truth. Like, I think that the truth of this place is going to be kind of secondary for a while to the people's own truth of having to face themselves, of facing their own biases, because that is such a huge thing that holds people back. And they have so many biases and they don't even realize it. Like, seriously, when it comes down to words, like, how do you come up with there's good words and bad words? And we shouldn't use the bad words. And I don't know. And then people give so much of this energy to the words. They give so much energy to these just energies, like giving them all of this, like Lucifer, where you're in there making love to Lucifer, and you're going to go do some ritual now, some sacrifice of. I swear, if she fucking kills that little baby lamb, surely she's going to turn the other direction. But she's got herself so locked in now. And I don't even know. Like, and I went and read some of the comments. And other people are saying, no, don't do it. And then she's like, Lucifer told me to turn off the comments. And so then she turned off the comments as she drove to go get, she's documenting it the whole way. Every stop at the gas station. And then getting the lamb in the car, and then showing the lamb and holding the lamb, and the lamb's so tiny and so cute. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is wrong with people? Like, that is darkness inside of people coming out. Like, where would you even think? Why would you even sacrifice to a God that wants sacrifices? Like, where would you even come up with a God that creates all things, that creates energy, but he wants you to kill the things that he's created, to throw them back to him, to show him, here, I killed this for you. It's like, how does that make sense? It's the creation of life, but he wants you, the non-God, the little small peon, to kill his creation and throw it back up to him. My God, I don't get how people think. I just don't understand. It's like, do people not think things through? Religion has really got people all screwed up. What was that one I just saw? Somebody was talking, because they were talking about Lucifer too. So now there's another thing popping up about Lucifer. And Lucifer is a reptilian. It talks about it in the Bible, in Isaiah 53, 55. Explains exactly what Lucifer looks like, and it's a reptilian. And it's like, all these people, to me, this place where we're at is all these different realms, all these different worlds, all these different experiences happening. Just like, because this, you know how I said there was a footprint on my porch, and it was really weirding me out. And I was like, that just doesn't seem right. And I keep going out and trying it and see. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I could have stepped down, but why would it have been wet? Why would I have been sitting in here? And then put on my shoes and told Stella, I'm going to go out with you to go get a piece of wood. And then how would my footprint be there for hours and hours? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then when I went to walk out, there wasn't a footprint there. And then when I came back, it was startling that there was all of a sudden a footprint there. And it was like, I was so confused. How was a wet footprint, a bare wet footprint, when I've got my socks and my slippers on right by the stairs. And so I was like, this is so strange. And in my head, I kind of can see like an interfering, another reality. Like maybe I'm living summertime in another reality and I'm going in and out and I'm walking around and that's why I keep seeing things. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm being haunted by myself in some time loop or something. And so I don't know. I just thought it was really strange. But then I saw this other video, this girl, and hers is all snowy. And she was in her house, and then she opened her patio thing, and she had a whole bunch of footprints, bare footprints in the snow. And she's like, where did these come from? How did they get out here? And unless she set it up, which I don't want to just sit there and think that people are just going and setting this stuff up, because I didn't set it up. And I know weird shit is happening, but I thought that was a strange one. Because just like how that strange one when I said about the man in black who was here, and then the whole experience, and then how I had some other girl pop up and was explaining like the exact same thing in her house. It's like, that is strange. And so, what was it? Because there was another one I was going to say about somebody, about some other person I had seen on there. But I don't remember. My stomach keeps growling and growling. I already made brownies even. I made up a recipe, so I don't know how good they're going to be. But I was laying there. I was like, well, I'm just going to try and go back to sleep. And so I'm laying there trying to relax. And I started having this brownie recipe come into my head about adding in date syrup and then cutting up dates. And so I put date syrup in it, but then it still didn't taste sweet enough. So I still did put a little bit of sugar in it. And then I put, and I cut up a couple dates in it. I put coconut in it. I put a bunch of almond pieces in it. And then I made frosting and stuff. So I don't know how they're going to be. But, oh, and then today also, so it's Christmas Eve today. And so I'm going to drive to the hospital and go. She called yesterday, and it seems like really good stuff is happening. It seems like she's really getting this good placement, and she asked me to pack up all her stuff. And I don't know if I'm bringing it today. It depends on when she's getting discharged to get transferred to the other place. But she did want me to come. And then she was asking, because they were saying that they could only have evening visitors. And I said, well, I can't see at night to drive. If they'll let you come in the daytime, I'll come and visit. And so they told her that I could come in the daytime. So I'm going to go today and go visit her. So I'm going to go probably take her a piece of my little cake brownie thing. I'm going to go stop and get her a cookie. She has a bunch of poetry books that she wanted me to bring her. So I'm going to take those down there. And then I heard her talking. she does the cutest thing sometimes, because I look at it as because these kids they got disrupted in their development stages. And so a lot of them are still wherever that they had the disruption and started entering the court system and started leaving the household, that it caused disruption. And so they kind of, like, she'll act like a kid who was like 8 or 10 years old still. And so she'll do, but that's the problem of being an adult, being considered an adult by society, when you still have this childlike self to you, who, and that childlike self also still needs help to develop through some of this stuff. So, it's cute, but then it's also very frustrating for the person who's becoming an adult, because then they think something's wrong with them. It's like, no, nothing's wrong with you. You just didn't develop in the same stages as other people. You just got to figure out like where your holes are, and then work on, some of your issues. But anyway, so she was talking to one of the attendants to ask them about if I could come or something. And so then I heard her say, no, they were asking who was coming. And she said, oh, it's chosen family. I thought, oh, that's so cute. And they knew exactly what she was talking about. I think a lot of these kids, a lot of these people, it's going to make me sad. Because I don't even know. A lot of them, have been discarded by their families. A lot of families, there's like serious problems, serious drug addiction problems, and problems where they couldn't take care of their kids. And I don't know, it's just sad. There's a lot of sad stuff in our society because I don't know, people need to be able to heal and become more grown up themselves before they go and just start having kids. Some people think like, oh, well, if they go have kids and start their own family, that's part of their healing. But no, that's going to bring up all of your pain. And there's also this other phenomenon that I've always found so interesting is that you are trying to fix your own problems. So whatever problems you had growing up, whatever interference you felt from your parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles or whatever, you're trying to solve that in your kids. You don't want them to experience what you experienced. So then you try and start manipulating their experience so they don't experience what you experienced. So you're trying to solve your problems through your kids, who those aren't even their problems. So then you develop new problems for them. So it's this constant manufacturing of problems, especially when we're trying to fix our problems through somebody else. And it's just the way it works. It's weird, but yeah, like if you were always spanked or something and you're like, well, I'm not going to be like my parents. And so then, you're never going to spank your kid, but then maybe your kid needs a spanking, but you're not going to spank them. And then your kid becomes like a really spoiled, rotten little brat and talks down to you. But you didn't spank them. And so then you have a whole different set of problems, because everything has to be individual and it has to be in balance. Like everything has been out of balance and it has been set standards. Like even if you have 4 kids in your house, there could be one that needs a spanking every day, and there could be the other ones that you never even need to talk harshly to them. But the other one, is jumping up off of cabinets and doing all sorts of stuff that is dangerous. And then plus, I'm talking about like a swat on the butt. I'm not talking about a full-on beating, like let's get the belt out and beat like this kid. To me, it is like giving a kid a swat or something is very different. Like than where we would have to sit in our bedrooms for hours and hours waiting for our dad to get home. And then he'd make sure, my dad would always snap the belt. He would always snap it. I don't think he was excited to come in and spank us. I think my mom would just be totally frustrated. There was a reason why, we would all stay out of the house. It's like your mom was a basket case. So like, how could you go in and do something? Yeah, any kind of noise you would make or anything, you'd be in your room for the whole day waiting for your dad to come in and spank you. And you had to watch every little word you said, because back then there was good words and bad words. And the bad words would get you in big trouble. It's like, maybe that's what some of these people's problem is. Then somebody says the bad words and it's like, I used to get beat for saying that. It's like, I don't know. I don't think that we need to think that things are good and bad, like on that level. Like it's good words and bad words. It's whatever words you want to use. It's you. It's your language. It's your communication. And if there's people who find me offensive, that think like, oh, well, yeah, I like what she has to say, but she cusses way too much for me. That's an individual thing. Then don't listen. You don't have to listen to somebody who talks in a vulgar way that you find offensive. To me, it's like, well, maybe you're missing out on what somebody's saying because you're all caught up in the language, which the language is created to interfere and control us and to, I don't know, I think it is used to create division, but it's definitely used, I don't know, when you hear these people talking about the words and stuff, there's so much about the spells, like we're setting spells, and not just like, oh, add a little, frankincense and put a little of this, put a little of that, not those kinds of spells, but the kind of telling ourselves something, the way we talk to ourselves. It's a way of the mind control, of controlling reality through our language. And so it's kind of like beating yourself down with language. And then I also think, like, if you are always putting yourself as like, bad, oh, I'm bad, I talk bad. Like, why would you say something negative about yourself like that? It's like, why? Like, it's just is so much room as there's a whole bullying kind of thing. Like, there's a standardized way that we all need to behave. We all need to fit into the corral and all be the same. We all need to act the same, be the same, talk the same, look the same. And it's like, why? Why do we need to be like that? Why can't we just accept different people? I think that people who are born really unique, I was like very, it's lucky. Like, when you were born so unique and stand out so much, there's a reason. There's a reason for it. Like, I think that there was sometimes in history where somebody who was born different would have been thought to be like an angel sent from the heavens, like would have been worshipped, like, oh my gosh, look at this. Like, if you had a whole bunch of people like in Turkey, say, and everybody was dark haired and dark skinned, and then all of a sudden an albino was born and it was all white hair and looked way different, then the people would all think like, oh, this is this crazy anomaly, like it's something came from the heavens. And see, that's the thing too about this place that we're at. It's like all these different realms. Like, there's realms. Everything is realms, all based on vibration. And it goes in all different directions. And there's all different realities happening. It's like there can be a reality happening right down there that's just at a different vibration. And you have to be at that vibration to experience that reality, which these higher beings, see, they can go through because they stay in their high energy body. They can go through all these different experiences. The difference is for us is that we got birthed into the experience. So we're trapped in this vibration, this low vibrating, like low vibrating being, like a representation of yourself, this low vibration, so that you can experience some of the things of which that we think of as being physical reality, but really is just this slowed down kind of version of yourself. And so when you come out of it, you go back to being yourself, and then you can travel around and go like these other beings. Like, to me, where people think like they're aliens and they're monsters, it's like they're advanced beings that can travel around. They're like angels, and it's all based on different frequency. So it depends on how high a frequency, like if you want to say if somebody's an angel or not. But the lower frequencies is the only place where the low, that it makes more sense too when you think about how some of these, like these Dracos or reptilians or whatever, the lower vibration beings that are about warring and taking things and stuff, why they stayed down in places that was a lower vibration, where it's where there's like matter, where you think there's matter, because of the density. And so that is where they are trying to control into that realm of, and then see how they do get control. But then to me, it's like, but as the advanced souls, we come in to play the game, to see like, oh, you think that you can trick us, oh, you think that you can set me off my game. I think that we see it as a challenge. I don't think that we see it as like, oh, we're going to go down there, we're going to get taken over by these beings or something. I think that we're in a high vibration and we're birthed into this experience knowing that we're going to have to battle a lot of dark energy, and that we're going to have a lot of heaviness and trying to redirect us. But the weird thing is when you see how all these people, how it's worked, how there's so many people who are so consumed by the darkness. And even right now, why there's so much light coming in and they're going further into the dark, so creepy. So I don't know, but the pole shift thing will be when everything turns the other direction. And you'll know because it will be, each of the individual people will start knowing, because you'll start seeing, you'll start feeling, it will feel different. you'll, you know, maybe you'll talk about something. All of a sudden, everybody wants to listen to what you have to say. You'll be like, well, that's different. That's strange. And then there's going to be more and more and more of that. Because it may be, you know, just little turns through all different people's lives. I still think there's going to be a big abrupt thing that's going to happen. But you could still be seeing things. My eyes itchy. I swear to God, there's still, like, I have taken, this will be the 5th day I've taken this stuff. And I have not had any weird stuff. I haven't gone to the bathroom, any weird stuff, nothing. The only thing is where I feel like the pee smells like some kind of chemical. And I feel like Stella has the same smell. So there's some kind of chemical smell. And then, but there's a huge difference in her. Like, I think she is, definitely there's a huge difference. I'm going to keep her on this stuff for sure. But I'm going to do this 7 days. And then I'm going to take those 7 days off. And then I'm going to do 7 more. And I'm going to do charcoal in between to try and get rid of any of the debris or whatever's in there, if there's dead debris in there. But it's weird how I keep feeling things still crawling around in my face, in my ears, and my eyes. It's like, man, I don't know. Sometimes you get caught in your head. You feel something in your stomach. And you're like, oh my God, is that worms burrowing? Or are they going to just burrow right out of me? But I have not gone to the bathroom anything this whole time of any of these cleansing where there's been anything alive. Nothing alive. And I haven't even seen any worms. I've gone to the bathroom. The only time where I saw anything that I thought was worms was like a year and a half or 2 years ago now, is when I went to the med beds in Newport in California, and we had the overnight. And so we spent the overnight there. And then the morning I got up and I had to go to the bathroom. And that day something came out of me where I thought that looked like worms. And then recently I've seen so many different people talking about all these worms and showing pictures of worms and all this stuff. And when I saw the pictures, I thought, oh, that looks the most similar to tapeworms. So I was thinking, well, maybe I had a couple of tapeworms, but I would have thought that they were way, way bigger. These were only like this big. So, and I don't even know for sure that they were worms. They were dead, whatever they were, and they were flat. There was nothing to them. But man, I don't know how all these people keep going to the bathroom, just all these worms. I have not seen anything like that. And even in Stella's, when I've gone out and when she's gone to the bathroom, I haven't seen anything in hers, no worms or anything. So I don't know, but she definitely, I feel like her health, she feels better. And so I'm definitely going to keep doing it with her. And then, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll do it once a month or something. I mean, it can't hurt. You just keep on top of trying to keep the worms out, because that affects people's health. That's what's making people sick. Confirmation with cancers and stuff like that. There's all these parasites and the I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of complication about it, and that there's a lot more of talk about it. Like, that's what's making people sick. And so it's important to clear out all of the stuff that's feeding off of you. And that's kind of like on the micro macro what the universe is doing. Like, people don't realize, like, because I was really feeling sad for the girl who got the DoorDash ripoff, and she's just bawling her head off, and she don't know what she's going to do. And I was like, the universe is trying to push you into something. I would say probably trying to push you into stop working so much. Start going at it in a different way, chipping it away in a different direction. Like, there's, like, everybody's got to go in the other door. You got to start looking at things different, trying to figure out a different way, you know, don't add on more and more jobs. And then so you can have money, you know, to go to a happy hour and stuff. All that stuff is going away. The amount of things that I've seen people show of gross ass food. There was one where this lady was showing that was a good one. And she was the Texas Roadhouse, and she got takeout. And for $40, their $40 meal, and she was very happy with it. She went through, showed all the stuff, and they gave a lot of things, which I'm sure it's all probably depends on where you go too, and who works there, and what management is like. So I'm sure not every single one is going to be exactly the same as the others. And then you have all these different other restaurants. There's all sorts of stuff. I saw one lady who had gone to Whole Food, and got a salad, like out of their salad bar thing or something. And she was sitting there eating it, and she said she was getting this really weird flavor. And she thought it tasted really chemically. And then she was moving some of the salad, and there was a stink bug just in her salad, crawling around, stinking it up. And then she was really grossed out because she's like, she realized that what she was eating that tasted like chemicals was the little stink bug farts. And so she was just eating stink bug farts in her salad. So all this different stuff that is just keeps being gross. And then it also, to me, though, fucks with your head too, is because none of it's real. When you keep thinking about it, it's like, none of it's real. My hands aren't really dirty. There's not really food. Like, none of it's real. It's all an illusion. And the more you pull free from the illusion, the crazier you feel anyways. I think that's a part of what is creating so much of this psychosis, is people are so entangled with the reality. They're so dependent on the reality to identify themselves. So it feels very uncomfortable and awkward the more the reality is being pulled away from us. But that's the thing, is that this reality isn't real, but it isn't connected to all the other things. And all the people keep trying to put it together with all these other realities. And everything has just been a lie. And I don't know. I mean, I think that they're just trying to cover themselves so that we stay controllable. Because if we understood what this place was, it's like, to me, it's kind of like a board game or a movie theater or a play set. And then it just resets, and then new storyline starts. And then, but you have all these different ones too. And with some of these realities and stuff, like, I think that there's realities over there in the Antarctica where there's these cities that have been there for a long, long time, longer than us. And I've probably watched some of the stuff that has gone on with us. But here, supposedly, it's all been a big experiment to see, but supposedly also it has to do with unity, is when we get to the, winning, where we've won the game, is when we all come together, when we can overlook our differences, get over our biases, have compassion and empathy for one another. Which that doesn't mean you have to run out and march around and scream and yell because somebody else is having a problem, but to have empathy and compassion, and to see and understand, that we're all in this together. And to me, it's so much about is to also recognize that this is what they've been doing for so long. They have been crushing the indigenous people in order to control them, and then making this fake race to I don't know. It's weird because it's like part of it is like they could just go in and wipe out all these different people. Like they've done it before. Maybe it's too much against the universal law so that they can't. But there's going to be a lot where there is going to be a lot of people that will leave all at one time. And I think there's going to be some like whole cities or something, or something bad. I think it's already been happening anyways. That's already been happening. But there's going to be more of it, which I bet you that there's going to be some where like 20,000 people will all die at one time. And it will be, there's going to be some more gruesome stuff, especially with the natural disasters and the weather. But now seeing like how much of this is they're creating winter and it's artificial, and does that have something to do with the pole shift? Because when the pole shift happens, it's supposed to be that we're going to go into a tropical, like the land mass is all going to change. It's going to become lots of like more islandy. It seems like there's going to be a lot more islands, but there's going to be a lot less, like so many places are going to be gone. But I wonder if, or I've heard before, it's supposed to go all tropical, where everything is just going to be beautiful weather and it's going to be really nice. And so it kind of, sometimes it seems like it's like changing like that. Like it is changing. Like something's happening. And so, and then to know that they do all this weather manipulation. And so maybe their stuff is starting to fail. And it's all part of the shifting. But there's these astrology people are saying that it's been the sun or the moon or something has been stuck in Venus and hasn't moved, and the places aren't moving like they're supposed to. So, that would have to do with the pole shift, but I just don't know how much of it is physical. Like, I mean, I don't know if it is like we're going to spin, the toroidal field's going to flip, and then all of a sudden we're in the right side up. Oh, I saw this. I thought this was interesting because this guy was sharing this video and said there's only two religions. The one religion is when you go out and you look up to the heavens and you try and connect to everything that is out there so that you can see that you're a part of all things and something that is so much bigger than you. And then the other one is when you are, when you go to see yourself as small and you go to connect with all of nature and everything that is around you so that you can feel that you are a part of all things. And I thought, see, that's the thing. It's like nobody's connecting to anything. They aren't connecting to the sky people, all that's out there. They're not connecting to the ground and nature and everything that bleeds out from that. People keep looking for something else. And just the whole thing, even with religion, how it is so much about division and hierarchy. And I don't know, people just seem to be really satisfied with that kind of atmosphere of being divided, feeling like they're better than other people. I mean, you have people come into your comments and tell you, you should color your hair. You should do this. You shouldn't talk this way. You should do it this way. You should do it that way. It's like, oh, wow, I wonder why everybody gets so comfortable trying to control other people instead of just letting people be themselves. Neither you align with them or you don't align with them. It doesn't have to be like ugly. I'm like, oh, I can't stand that person. Be just like, oh, I just don't see it. Like all those different spiritual TikTok people, which I don't even know. It seems to be a huge ordeal. Like all these people seem to be all connected somehow in their influence over one another and their thought influence over society or something. But that they, all those different guys, because there was a bunch of different girls too, with their whacked out hair, and then all these guys with their taking their shirts off and going in beads and walking around barefoot like they're super spiritual and connected. And then these girls that, just, I don't know, like I just see something different. I see a fake, phony persona putting on like, oh, this is what a spiritual person would do. Well, I don't think I've ever done any of that stuff. I don't think that I just go and dance around outside and demand trees to touch me. And I definitely go up and hug trees. I talk to trees. I talk to everything. I talk to everything. And so I don't know. There's just some kind of disconnect with people. It's way more of fake and phony. It's way more of putting on a show. It's way more of, looking the part. It's like it's not as glamorized to just be connected. It's not like, I don't know, like they probably do have bars where they go out to go get drunk and pick up girls, and everybody thinks they're so cool because they're so spiritual. It's like, what is it they're doing that's spiritual? So anyways, but being spiritual, I would say, is probably a little more boring, a little more, it's a lot more of just being reflective and thinking when certain situations occur and happen, to think your way through it, to help yourself understand, so that you're not just always conforming to please others, that you can stay strong and being yourself and being independent and being an independent thinker, not just like, because you can see how we have all these people who they are dependent on one another for their own identity, to understand who and what they are. You got to get comfortable in being who and what you are to yourself, accepting yourself, questioning yourself, like, why am I putting on this persona? Who am I trying to please? Is this really who I am? Is this like how I go out into the world? I think it's important. I think it's way more important to be truthful and honest and authentic than it is to put on the perfect persona. It's just putting on a mask, and people are so much more comfortable putting on masks than showing themselves. To reveal themselves is too vulnerable, which I just don't get it, because to me, I don't know, I've never seen it where it was made sense to me to hide something. I've always thought, like, there's no lie that you can do. There's nothing you can hide. It will always catch up with you. To me, there's never been any other way except to be real and be honest and be authentic and show your real self. Because I just don't see how there's any other way. That there's, even if you go and you try and pretend, it catches up with you. And then, I think you look foolish. You look like a liar or something. So anyways, that's just my opinion. That's the way I look at it. And so I don't know. We'll see how stuff keeps going. Now it's Christmas Eve, so I'm going to drive into town, which it partly seems like, oh, that'd be fun to go do something nice for somebody on Christmas Eve, and then come home. But then I don't feel bad for Stella too. Like, oh, but she'll be all alone. So I'm not going to stay gone very long, but I will go do that, and then I'm still hoping that shit goes down. Like, I'm still hoping the banks don't open, something. Come on, something. But everything is going to. I mean, stuff is going. There's weird stuff coming out on different people, different arrest things. There's all sorts of weird stuff. It's all, exposing these people and humiliating them. But, just don't get all caught up in that, like, to throwing stones and beating people down and stuff, because that is like a feeding frenzy of energy that you wouldn't want that coming back on you. And I think that will come back on some people. And so if they're real comfortable being a feeding frenzy, talking smack on somebody, then when it turns, the tables turn, and all of a sudden it's you who is being exposed. Like, fuck, that can happen. That can happen to me. I don't know. Maybe I've said so many mean things about people. I'm not trying to say mean things about people, but there's definitely weird stuff going on. Like, there's weird stuff with the filters. I think it has really messed with people's minds. Like, people are really starting to think that they look at their filter and they think that that's them now. And they think that their face is always morphing into all these different faces, and I don't know. Maybe it's just so bored and so lonely and just desperate for some kind of connection into the world, and playing with filters is all they got. I don't know. It's like a lot of people. And it just is weird how it's just this weird fake society. And it's just like the bleed out. It's like the leftovers of this weird society just leaking out all this weirdness. So anyways, but it all is going to flip. It's all going to flip into this other direction, where it is going to seem more of a moral, more of a defined. Like, it's weird because people they don't want to have control and stuff, or have other people control them, but we're going to go more into not being policed by government and stuff, but being more of standards. Like people have more standards. Like somebody who's really degrading themselves is going to be quite clear. It's going to be really cringy. It's going to be some of these things that people are going to keep doing are going to just get more and more cringy. Like, I guess apparently, because there was this one video that I kept going past. Every time I would start, it would just be like, ugh, I can't even stand it. And it was some party, and some woman who goes down and she starts twerking or whatever it's called, dancing on some guy. And the guy starts acting like, you know, he's doing it with this girl on the dance floor. And he starts videotaping it. And then this little kid comes running over and hits him and starts this whole big thing. And apparently this was a social media event of influencers or something. And they all got together to have a party. And this little boy is a part of the mom and the little boy's channel. And so the mom was out there grinding on this guy, and the son came and stopped her. And she was drunk and stuff, came and stopped her, and became this whole thing, and all these people laughing and stuff. But there is, it's going to become more like that. It's going to become more and more cringy, more and more like where people are like, oh, gross. Like, why are you acting like that? And where the people who are doing it are going to become more humiliated. And they need to go in and ask themselves more of why. Why am I doing that? Why am I, lowering myself? Why do I think this is all I deserve? Why, just asking yourself the questions so you can find, where does this come from? Because that's how you release it. You have to go in and find it. You have to figure out like why you're doing the things you're doing. You have to reel yourself in and go in and try and, maneuver your way through all your own trauma so you can find and pinpoint why it is you do the certain things that you do, so you can, take the pin out of it and let go of it, because you're reacting to things that happened when you were a child and now you're an adult. So now you can look at it differently. And especially if you've gained any perspective in life and you understand, like, people aren't just out to get you. People make mistakes and do stupid things because they've got problems. So to me, there's a lot of healing that goes on when you are going back and looking at your pain and trauma. A lot of forgiveness and healing and letting go of things. But anyways, that's how you, feel better in life, and you make better relationships. It's taking responsibility for yourself and your own behaviors, but you have to go in and find where your behaviors initiated, why you are acting the way you're acting. Because nobody is just this one thing. Nobody's just, born a slut, and that's just all they are, is just some slut who just grinds on everybody. No, there's some kind of trauma. There's some kind of pain. There was something that happened. Either they didn't know boundaries, or they got, positive feedback for acting a certain way. It's all different for all different people. That's why everybody has to go in and look it up for themselves. And each person who improves their life, their own life, improves the world at large, the world around them. And we're going to see the effects of that. We're going to see how this, because when things turn, how it will be, small numbers will be the ones that are like those of us who can see, that we will be the ones that will be showing the way. But watch and see what the numbers are going to be. And then it will start flipping. More and more people will start flipping. But it's going to be very outnumbered for a while. Or there's going to be people who are, it's going to be like carrying the crowd. It's going to be draining. It's going to be tiring. And it is important that you're going to need to have boundaries, because you'll see people will drain the life out of you when they're feeling bad and they don't know what to do. And you're going to seem to have all the answers. But this is part of the reason why you've been working on your boundaries and becoming sure of yourself, is because you're going to need them. You're going to see that there will be people who will take and take and take from you. And you got to be able to be strong and set your boundaries over what you can give and what you can't give. And you need to stay strong to yourself and know that the people will all get through it. That part of it is them to get through it for themselves, to champion themselves so that they can learn their importance, their value. This is all to teach them to have value for themselves. So you don't want to just rush in and rescue somebody and make it all better for them, even though, you know, you want to fix it for everybody, especially when you've already been able to fix it for yourself. But then this is where you've got to sit back and watch people and trust that they will fix it for themselves. But it's going to be very dramatic, I think. And it's coming in quick. It can be this week, it can be next week, it could be at any moment of any day. We're right on the edge of change. We're right on the edge of everything flipping the other direction. And then people are going to see like the real amount of numbers of people who are not awake. Even though there's lots of people who are out there saying that they're awake. But you'll see. It's going to be a big change in the numbers. So anyways, that's just a part of it. And it's not for ego. It's not to be like better than somebody else. It's just the way that things had to go. It had to go. And that the people who are playing all these parts are just as important and just as significant. So it's not just because the ones that are going to be the light showers or the way showers or whatever is not just like, oh, well, they're better, they're smarter, they're chosen, they're older souls and all that stuff. No, it's just everybody's playing different parts and all the parts are just as important. So don't think that the way shower role is more important than the people who are asleep. All of these roles are important to these faces that are watching us. I just don't want to look up and see their faces watching us. It's one thing when it's a vague in the cloud kind of thing, but when it's an actual face looking down, it's creepy as fuck. It's just creepy. I just can't get it out of my head. And I'm so freaked out that I'm going to look up at the sky and see this face looking down at me. It's so weird. It's so weird is because I used to think, oh, that wouldn't bother me. Now I've got all this shit that just keeps bothering me. Fucking people walking around, people on my porch, fucking moon, people looking down out of the sky. It's all fucking creepy. So I'll just be glad when, I don't know, I'll be glad when it's not, when I'm shifted out of this isolation. I feel like I'm in isolation, but when it shifts and it takes me in a new direction, I look forward to that part. So anyways, we'll just see how it all plays out. Just, stay strong, keep working on yourself. Don't put that to the side. Don't ignore that. Everything that is happening, just keep thinking about how is this influencing you? What is it you need to pay attention to? What is it you need to know? And just keep working on you. That's what's most important. That's what the awakening all has to do with. It has to do with the shifting of your consciousness, of how you look at things, how you see things, and how more evolved things are when you look at it in a broader perspective. So anyways, how long have I been talking me off? Always at this time, it seems like it's time to go. So my stomach keeps growling and growling. Now I'm going to go in and try my brownies and see how they turned out. So, and there was something else. I swear to God, there was something else that there always is when I'll end. I'll be like, oh, you forgot to say blah, blah, blah. So anyways, but I'll be back tomorrow. So I'll say it then. I'll talk to you later.